There are times when life seems quiet, uneventful even. You wake up, go through the same motions, handle your responsibilities, and fall asleep again. Everything appears to be as usual. But beneath that surface, in the silence where the visible meets the invisible, something begins to stir, something changes, and you don't realize it right away, not at first. The angels want you to understand something sacred today. When the quantum field shifts in your favor, it doesn't announce itself with thunder. It doesn't always come with fireworks, or bold signs, or obvious miracles. Sometimes it's in the hush, in the stillness where only the brave are listening. That destiny begins to rewrite itself. You've felt it before, haven't you? That moment when you look back and think, wait, everything changed back there and I didn't even know it. You were simply living, perhaps even struggling, but something within the fabric of reality was recalibrating, realigning itself with a higher truth you couldn't yet see. This isn't coincidence. This is quantum movement, silent, deliberate, and often invisible until the pieces start to fall into place. Sometimes it begins with a loss, something you thought you needed being taken from your hands. It hurts, it confuses you, but what you don't see at that moment is the opening it creates, an energetic vacancy that allows a higher alignment to enter your life. And sometimes it starts when you're tired, soul tired. You reach a point where your heart whispers, I can't keep doing this. And that whisper is heard by forces far greater than you. Not because you shouted, but because you surrendered. That surrender is what activates the field. The angels say, you're not late, and you haven't missed your moment. What's meant for you is not decided by your fears, nor by your failures. It's moved by the codes written in light, the ones that vibrate through your soul, calling you back to your path even when you can't see it. Before we continue the message, write this mantra in the comments. I allow the unseen to work in my favor. Now, continuing the message. The shift happens first in energy, then in matter. And that's why so many people miss it. They're looking for signs in the physical world, unaware that the universe doesn't build from the outside in. It builds from the inside out. This is why silence is powerful, why your moments of isolation aren't empty. They are portals. In your quiet moments, your soul reconnects with the field that holds your destiny. You may not hear anything, you may not feel anything, but in that stillness, your frequency rises. Your heart begins to align with the version of you that already exists on the other side of the breakthrough. And that's where it gets interesting. Because while you're walking through ordinary days, paying bills, dealing with people, handling emotions, the field is shifting timelines, moving people out of your life who no longer align with where you're going, attracting new opportunities into your orbit that haven't yet reached your door, whispering to others about you in rooms you haven't entered yet. You think nothing's happening? That's when everything's happening. But only those who are awake inside can feel it. Have you ever had a moment where suddenly the heaviness you've been carrying just lifts? Or someone calls you unexpectedly and they speak words you've been needing to hear, without knowing why? Or you stumble upon something that feels like it was meant just for you. These are echoes of the quantum shift. The angels are saying, you're not behind, you're being repositioned. And sometimes that repositioning requires stillness, patience, trust. Not because the universe wants to test you, but because it's preparing the environment for your arrival. You're not walking toward your destiny. Your destiny is walking toward you, and the field, that divine intelligence beneath all matter, is orchestrating the meeting point. So if you feel like things are too quiet, too slow, like nothing is changing, listen carefully. You're probably standing at the edge of something sacred, the kind of shift that only becomes clear in hindsight. You'll wake up one day and realize you're no longer stuck, that the weight is gone, that something or someone has entered your life with a kind of ease you no longer need to chase, and you'll look back and whisper, it all changed, and I didn't even know it. That's the beauty of silent transformation. It's not loud, but it's irreversible. And here's what's most important. When it happens, trust it. Don't second-guess the ease. Don't look for the drama. Not all blessings come wrapped in struggle. Sometimes they come wrapped in grace, and so subtle you almost miss them. But you won't miss this one, because your soul already knows. It's already receiving the update. You're just waiting for your mind to catch up. The angels are near. They're not shouting. They're surrounding you with presence. with calm, with a knowing that your steps are guided, even when you're walking through fog. There is something you've prayed for that's already in motion. You just don't see it yet. But you will. And when it arrives, it will feel like it was always meant to be there. That's how the field works. Quietly, surely, powerfully. And it's working in your favor, even now. If this message is already resonating with you, let us know where you're watching from. Drop your city in the comments. It's amazing how energy connects us across distances. Sometimes the universe doesn't knock on your door. It gently rearranges the furniture of your life until you look around and realize something is different. You can't explain it. It's not a single event, but a soft accumulation of invisible shifts. A phone call you didn't expect, a delay that kept you from being in the wrong place, a deep feeling in your gut telling you wait, or go now. That's the quantum field moving in silence, and when it moves with intelligence. We often ask for signs, we pray for answers, but then we expect those answers to arrive in bold, unmistakable packaging. What if the sign isn't a billboard? What if it's a whisper? What if it's a quiet knowing that shows up not in words, but in how your body feels when you think about something or someone? The angels are guiding you to become more fluent in the language of energy. Not everything will make sense logically, and that's okay. The field doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in alignment. This is why your emotions matter so much right now. They are your compass. That sense of heaviness when you think about staying in a certain place, that's not fear. That's your soul saying, this isn't home anymore. That wave of peace when you imagine something new, that's not fantasy. That's the future trying to introduce itself. Now, before we continue this message, write in the comments 888, a number of divine alignment and infinite flow, to claim it for yourself. And if this message has moved something inside you, we gently invite you to click on the thanks button below. Every act of support helps us keep bringing these messages of light to more souls. Thank you deeply. The angels want you to know that some shifts in your life won't look like miracles at first. They might look like endings, like confusion, like people pulling away. But look deeper. Sometimes things fall apart because the frequency that once held them together no longer matches your new resonance. You're not being punished. You're being purified. Because what's coming into your life next, that love, that opportunity, that peace you've been asking for, cannot rest on an unstable foundation. You've outgrown your old timeline. And here's what's important. This doesn't require you to do more, hustle harder, or fix yourself. It's not about effort. It's about energy, about being willing to pause, to breathe, and to listen when the silence starts to speak. Have you noticed how the right words seem to find you at the right time? How you stumble upon something that speaks directly to what you're feeling, almost like it was placed there for you? That's not chance. That's the field responding. You're not alone in this. Even when you feel isolated, you are seen, held, supported by a presence that doesn't need to be loud to be real. In fact, the more you lean into silence, the more you'll hear. The more you let go of needing answers right now, the more answers will find you. Naturally, gently, precisely. You don't need to control this next chapter. You just need to prepare your heart to receive it. The angels are rearranging timelines for you, moving people, shifting energies, aligning events behind the scenes. Your only task right now is to stay open, to say, I trust, even when you don't see the evidence yet, because the evidence always comes, but only after the belief. What's beautiful is you've already felt it. The inner nudges, the subtle redirections, the sense that certain people are drifting and others are arriving, that you're changing, even if you can't explain how or why. This is not random. This is the quantum code unfolding in your favor. You might look back a few months from now and say, everything is different, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it, because you said yes to what your soul already knew. So don't panic if things are quiet. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't assume stillness means nothing is happening. Often stillness is the loudest yes from the universe. It's the preparation for what's next, and what's coming is beautiful. Before we go deeper, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the perfect time. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content for your heart and soul. You've likely been taught that action is everything, that if you're not doing something, you're falling behind. But in the eyes of the angels, there is a sacred kind of movement that looks like stillness, and that's exactly what you're being invited into now. Not all progress makes noise. Not all miracles come with sparkles and fanfare. Some come quietly while you're washing the dishes, while you're taking a walk and suddenly feel peace in your chest for the first time in days, while you're sitting in traffic and suddenly remember who you are, not what the world told you, but what your soul knows. This is the hidden current beneath your reality, and it's shifting things, even when everything on the surface looks unchanged. The angels are reminding you, transformation doesn't always need your permission to begin. It only needs your openness to receive it. And this is where many people miss the moment, because we've been trained to equate change with effort. But not all divine alignment requires struggle. In fact, when you are truly aligned with the quantum field, the shift often feels like ease, like grace, like something unfolding around you while you simply keep showing up, heart open, spirit grounded. The people who suddenly re-enter your life, the opportunities that pop up out of nowhere, the timing that finally makes sense, that's the field answering the vibration you've been carrying. And here's something you need to hear today. You don't need to chase what's already being sent to you. Let that sink in. So many souls feel exhausted, not from doing too much physically, but from trying to control what's unfolding, from questioning every delay, from analyzing why this person pulled away or that door didn't open. But from the angelic perspective, these are not punishments. They are pivots. They are reroutes, not rejections. You are not off track. You are being guided through the unseen. And there is a difference. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, breathe, listen. Not to the chaos around you, but to the whisper within you. That voice that says, trust this, even if it doesn't make sense right now. Because later, perhaps weeks from now, maybe months, you'll see it. You'll realize that delay saved you, that closed door redirected you, that silence was preparing the stage for something far greater. And the quantum field, it's never late. It only waits until the conditions are right, in you, around you, for you. This is not just about timing, it's about preparation. You're being prepared for something your past self couldn't have held, something that requires a clearer version of you, the one you're becoming right now. Can you feel that? The shedding, the soft grief for old identities, the quiet courage it takes to not chase, not beg, not cling. That's the field upgrading your frequency. It's not loud, but it's everything. You may be walking away from situations you once begged to stay in. That's growth. You may feel unexplainably drawn to new ideas, new places, new ways of thinking. That's alignment. You may feel like you're in between stories, not fully out of the old and not yet in the new. That's transition. And the angels say, this is sacred ground. Don't rush it. Don't shame yourself for not knowing where this is going yet, because what's building around you is not just another chapter. It's a new book, and this time the author is your higher self, the one who remembers your purpose, your gifts, your worth, even when you forget. You don't need to have all the answers today. You just need to stay open, stay curious, stay willing to believe that what's being rearranged in silence will soon arrive in clarity. And when it does, you'll feel it in your bones. This is what I've been waiting for. You know that feeling when something ends, and you're left wondering why it had to fall apart so suddenly, why someone left, why a door closed, why things didn't work out the way you hoped. The angels are saying, those were not endings. They were alignments. What if the very thing that felt like a breakdown was actually the first quiet step of your breakthrough? There's a kind of divine intelligence behind the scenes of your life that doesn't always consult your schedule. It doesn't always feel good at first, but it's never random. And the field and the sacred architecture beneath your daily reality has been shifting pieces on your behalf for far longer than you've noticed. What's hard to see while you're in the middle of it is that this isn't chaos, it's reorganization. It's the invisible being put into motion to serve your highest path. But here's the truth the angels want you to embrace. You were never meant to carry it all alone. And this is important, not just emotionally, but energetically. Because the more you try to hold together what's already been energetically released, the more resistance you feel, the more tired you become, the more blocked things begin to appear. But when you let go, not in despair, but in surrender, that's when the field can finally breathe. That's when space opens up for what truly belongs. So many of you are holding on to expired timelines, outdated roles, relationships that no longer nourish your spirit. Not because you don't want to grow, but because you haven't yet been given permission to release without guilt. The angels are here to give you that permission now. Let it go. Let the version of you that you had to be, the one who survived, who pushed, who carried others, who kept smiling through the ache, let her rest. She got you here. And she's loved, but she doesn't have to keep doing this alone. This next season of your life is not about proving your worth. It's about receiving your worth. It's about stepping into rooms you didn't have access to before. Not because they changed, but because you did. It's about recognizing that everything is frequency, and the field always matches what you're truly ready to receive. And yes, it might look like nothing is happening, but please hear this. The silence is working for you. It's building. It's recalibrating. It's not delay. It's divine precision. There are people you haven't met yet whose lives will be changed by your presence. There are doors you haven't even knocked on that are about to swing open, not because you begged for entry, but because your energy became the key. And there are moments ahead, quiet, beautiful, unmistakable, where you'll feel it all click, where you'll say, "Now I understand." That conversation that hurt so deeply. It made space for your voice. That ending you couldn't explain. It opened the timeline for something better. That pause that scared you, it brought you home to yourself. So many souls are waking up right now, not through drama or tragedy, but through subtle inner shifts, through a sudden inability to tolerate what they used to accept, through the rising desire to live authentically, even if it means letting go of comfort. You are one of those souls. You've been doing inner work that no one sees, choosing peace over reaction, rewriting beliefs, letting the old versions of you dissolve quietly so a truer self can emerge. That's brave, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. The field responds to what's real. And you've been getting real, with yourself, with your patterns, with your pain, with your power. So don't let this quiet moment fool you. You are not stuck. You are sinking with something much deeper than surface progress. The signs are coming. The clarity is on its way. And when it arrives, it won't be something you have to chase. It'll be something you recognize, like a song you forgot you loved, like a path that finally feels like home, like peace. Not because everything outside changed, but because something inside finally did. There's a subtle moment that happens before everything changes, and most people miss it. It's not loud. It doesn't come with lightning or drama. It's a breath, a pause, a soft, almost invisible shift in your awareness when something inside of you whispers, "I'm not the same anymore." You might still look the same, speak the same, show up to the same responsibilities, but the inner landscape has shifted, and that is where the quantum field begins its magic. Change doesn't begin in the outer world. It begins in the silence of your soul, in the moment you stop reaching outside for confirmation and begin trusting the quiet truth within. You've been doing that, haven't you? You've been letting go of needing validation. You've been learning to trust the feeling instead of the facts. And even though it's terrifying at times, it's also the most powerful position you've ever stood in. Because when you start to trust your own frequency over your fears, the field begins to respond in kind. People start to treat you differently. Opportunities shift, paths open. And while some may think it's luck, what's really happening is alignment. You're starting to vibrate at the level of the version of you who already has what you desire. And that's when the field says, yes, you're ready. But let's be honest, it's not easy to walk by faith when nothing seems to be changing. When your bank account still says not yet, when the relationship hasn't healed, when the silence feels endless. This is why so many give up right before the breakthrough. Because the old world crumbles before the new one can rise. And the space between. That's where the angels gather. That's where your soul is refined, where your clarity is forged, where your faith becomes your compass. So if you're in that space, where everything feels uncertain, but you're no longer who you used to be, breathe. You're not lost, you're evolving. You don't need to rush this, you don't need to fix it all in a day. You are not behind. The things meant for you aren't looking for a perfect version of you. They're drawn to the energy of your truth. And your truth right now might be messy, confused, raw, but it's real. And the field always meets you in what's real. Don't underestimate what's happening in your stillness. Don't devalue the energy you're cleaning out just by choosing differently. Every time you pause instead of reacting, you're rewriting a pattern. Every time you walk away from something toxic, you're signaling to the field, I'm ready for something better. Every time you say no to what drains you, you're saying yes to what restores you. That's how the shift begins. Not in a grand gesture, but in the quiet daily choices that move you closer to your own integrity. And the quantum field? It's taking notes. It's not your effort that shifts your timeline. It's your energy. The more you align with peace, with authenticity, with softness, the more the field bends to meet you there. You're not here to prove anything. You're here to remember who you are and allow life to meet you in that remembrance. The angels are clearing paths you don't yet see. They are removing obstacles that never belonged to you, and they are whispering to your heart, you are safe to receive now. Let yourself be surprised. Let yourself be caught off guard, in the best way. Let the love you gave come back around. Not always from the same person, but in a way that shows you nothing is ever truly lost in this field. Energy returns, effort echoes, and the seeds you've planted in secret, they are blooming in silence. Just wait. You'll see. You're closer than you think. The shift you've been praying for, hoping for, quietly preparing for, it's already begun. And though it may not yet be visible, it's vibrating beneath the surface of your life, rearranging details you don't even know need to be rearranged. This is the nature of quantum change. It doesn't ask for permission. It responds to alignment. And lately you've been aligning more than you realize. It's in the way you've been saying no without guilt. It's in the boundaries you've set, not out of fear but from self-respect. It's in how you've stopped begging for crumbs and started claiming your worth, not through loud declarations, but through quiet consistency. This is how timelines shift. This is how the new world arrives, not all at once, but gently, gradually, silently, one subtle miracle at a time. And maybe that's what makes it hard to trust, because your mind is still waiting for fireworks, for signs, for something dramatic. But your soul already knows. It feels the difference, the calm where there used to be chaos, the hope where there used to be despair, the lightness where there used to be tightness in your chest. That's the field speaking. The angels are asking you to listen deeper, not with your ears, with your nervous system, with your gut, with the part of you that senses truth even when your logic can't explain it. Because something is preparing to enter your life that won't need convincing. You won't need to chase it. Prove yourself for it. Struggle to keep it. It will fit, and it will feel like relief. You'll recognize it by the way it asks nothing from your wounds, only from your presence. It will come in softly, but it will feel eternal. That's how quantum alignment works. It matches your soul, not your scarcity. So if you've been feeling the nudge to let something go, a job, a place, a story you've been telling yourself, this is your confirmation. Let it go. You're not abandoning your life. You're releasing what no longer resonates, so you can receive what truly belongs. You were never meant to stay small just to make others comfortable. You were never meant to dim just because others couldn't handle your light. And if you've been quiet lately, not because you're hiding but because you're becoming, then trust that. That silence is sacred. You're not lazy. You're being recalibrated. You're not stuck. You're being softened, so the next version of your life can land gently. You're not being ignored by the universe. You're being held in a space of preparation that many never reach, because most give up when things get quiet, but not you. You've stayed. You've kept your heart open, even after disappointment, even when you didn't have evidence, even when all you had was a fragile hope whispering, keep going. And that's why everything is changing now. You've earned this shift, not through striving, but through staying. Staying kind, staying honest, staying aligned with what you knew was true, even when no one else saw it. You didn't force the door open. You became the energy that made the door unlock on its own. And when it opens, and it will, you'll realize that nothing was ever really delayed. It was all being arranged, perfectly, patiently, quietly. And now, it's almost time. You're going to see why it never worked with anyone else. Why those opportunities slipped away. Why it had to be this path. this pace, this version of you, because this next arrival, it was made for who you're becoming, and it's worth every silent second you've waited. There's a quiet beauty in how it all unfolds. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but in whispers, in pauses, in soft arrivals that feel less like disruption and more like remembering. This is how the quantum field delivers, not always with intensity, but with intimacy. You begin to notice the little things. You sleep better. You laugh easier. You stop explaining yourself to people who never really listened anyway. You start honoring what your body needs. You walk away from things that feel too heavy. You feel lighter, not because the world changed, but because your internal world did. That's the shift. It didn't scream, it didn't beg for attention, it didn't announce itself on a billboard. It just quietly rerouted everything. And now here you are, standing in the energy of a life that's becoming more aligned with who you actually are. The angels are near, watching, not in judgment but in awe, because they saw the nights you cried and kept going anyway. The mornings you woke up anxious but still chose grace, the conversations you wanted to avoid but entered with truth anyway. They saw your effort, your integrity, your quiet evolution. And now, they're opening the next door. It won't require the old version of you to walk through it. Only the one who trusts her softness, who knows that peace isn't a weakness, but a power. That clarity doesn't scream, it settles in. That love doesn't chase, it arrives and stays. What's next for you isn't about proving anything, it's about receiving everything. You won't have to justify this next chapter. You won't have to defend your choices. You won't need to explain why it feels right. It just will. And when others ask, "How did you know?" you'll smile. Because how could you explain the feeling in your bones, the way your heart stopped fighting, the way the silence began to sing? This is how you'll know. When it's for you, it doesn't hurt your nervous system. When it's aligned, it brings more ease than effort. When it's real, you won't feel like you're abandoning yourself to hold on to it. You'll be home. And home doesn't always look like a place or a person. Sometimes it's a frequency, a way of being. A moment where you exhale fully and realize you're no longer waiting for your life to begin. You're in it. Now. So breathe it in. Let it meet you. Let it love you. Let it show you that all the waiting, all the releasing, all the not knowing, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Because the field was never empty. It was filling with what you weren't yet ready to hold. But you are now. You've become the version of yourself who no longer begs for what she deserves, who no longer clings to what needs to leave, who no longer confuses chaos with passion. You've become the version who walks away with peace, not bitterness, who stays soft even after being hurt, who welcomes the new, not because she's desperate, but because she's finally ready. And now the field responds not with noise but with alignment, with timing so divine it will leave you speechless, with connections so sacred they will rewrite everything you believed about love, with blessings so personal they will feel like they were carved just for you. And they were. Because nothing is random, nothing is wasted, and nothing, not even your pain, was ever meaningless. It all led here, to this moment, this breath, this chance to receive. So soften. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to chase, explain, or hustle your way into worthiness. You already are, and the field knows it. It's just waiting for you to believe it too. If this message resonated with you and your current situation, leave a comment below saying, "I welcome all that's aligned and already mine." Share your experience in the comments. Your words may be the light someone else is searching for. If you felt moved by this message, please like and subscribe to the channel for more soul-centered content. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next message.